From diehard supporters who bleed team colors and stick through decades of pain, to the delusional, cocky, and downright unbearable fans. These are the most loved and most hated NBA fan bases, starting with the Los Angeles Lakers, who have proven that they're not just any team but a global brand. With 17 championships and a Hall of Fame lineup that includes Magic, Kobe, Shaq, and now LeBron, it's no wonder Lakers Nation carries itself like royalty. But with greatness comes hate, and no fan base catches more of it than Lakers Nation. In a Vegas insider poll on bad fan behavior, Lakers fans ranked number 1, and some of that reputation is earned. Every offseason, Lakers fans turn social media into a full-blown fantasy draft, fueled by pure delusion. Cap space, assets, and nothing else matter because they believe the Lakers are getting every superstar and winning the chip. They boldly claim the Lakers will win another championship. That is not a fact. That is a prediction, and declaring that the Los Angeles Lakers are the 2025 NBA champions. But in reality, things played out nothing like that. Lakers fans are also known for engaging in heated online battles with opposing fan bases, like the Lakers-Boston Celtics feud, which is tagged the greatest rivalry in professional basketball. Despite the Celtics having more rings, Lakers fans argue that they're simply the better team because most people associate basketball with LeBron, Kobe, and Shaq way more than Tatum, Pierce, Bird, or any of the Celts. Clippers fans, meanwhile, are constantly reminded that they're the Lakers' little brother even when they're outperforming them. As for the Warriors, despite their recent dominance, Lakers fans call them a poverty franchise that got lucky in the draft. However, this is just one side of their legacy. When the team's winning, Lakers fans are loud, everywhere, and already planning parades. But the moment things fall apart, they go silent or start turning on each other. Even their own fans have noticed this, with one saying, "Most fans complain about every little thing, and the moment the going gets tough, everyone just piles in." And beneath it all, there's a certain sense of entitlement that fuels the criticism. In 2022, the Lakers finished 11th in the West, and they missed the playoffs again. Instead of taking it on the chin, fans booed the refs, trended #FireVogel, and blamed Westbrook for the team's loss.
So the official called it.
But that wasn't all, because even during losing seasons, the Lakers dominated national TV schedules, and have the most nationally televised games in 6 of the last 8 years. And for fans of smaller market teams, it's exhausting, and feels like the league is constantly spotlighting LA, whether they deserve it or not. It's the Lakers and it's LeBron, one fan said. They'd still get those games even if they were below 20 wins. However, this entitlement comes from their legacy. Lakers fans often remind everyone of their 17 rings, though nearly half were won before the NBA-ABA merger, when the league looked very different from today. But to their supporters, they're the best franchise in the NBA. Now, unlike the Lakers fans who never stop talking about their wins, Nuggets fans rarely speak out, which is why in recent years, the internet has tagged them as one of the most respected fan bases in the NBA. Founded as the Denver Rockets in 1967, the franchise became the Nuggets in '74, ahead of joining the NBA in the 1976 merger. But even before that, the fans' loyalty had been building strongly. Unlike teams with deep playoff success, the Nuggets spent most of their history struggling for relevance. From 1991 to 2003, the team made the playoffs just twice. To top that off, they had one of the worst seasons in league history, finishing with just 11 wins and 71 losses in the 1997-98 season. But even after countless losses, the fans stayed loyal. During Carmelo Anthony's run in the 2000s, things picked up, and a streak of 10 consecutive playoff appearances brought Denver into the national conversation. But the Nuggets could never make it past the Western Conference Finals, falling short in 2009 to the Lakers. But it wasn't until the Nikola Jokic era that everything changed.
With the 41st pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Nikola Jokic from Sombor, Serbia. He last played for Mega Vizura in Serbia.
Jokic, a second-round pick in 2014, became a 3-time MVP and the team's emotional centerpiece. Alongside Jamal Murray, the Nuggets developed a roster through patience and internal growth. In 2023, they eventually swept the Lakers in the conference finals and won their first NBA championship in franchise history.
First ever NBA championship for the Denver Nuggets. Took nearly 5 decades, but they brought home a win. And again, this is a live picture from...
But even after reaching the top, Nuggets fans stayed humble. And that's exactly why so many people respect them. Across social media, fans from other teams have consistently ranked Nuggets supporters the second most tolerable fan base in the league, despite having reasons not to be tolerable. As one commentator put it, they had every right to be considerably unchill, as the media coverage last season almost always ignored them as contenders, despite their #1 seeding. But where the Nuggets draw the line and calm down, Jazz fans charge right through it, making them one of the most disgusting fans in the NBA, because the crowd in Salt Lake City has built a long-standing reputation for being hostile, personal, and at times, downright racist.
3 Jazz fans are now banned indefinitely after hurling racist or vulgar comments toward the parents of an opposing player.
Several players have gone on record over the years about it, but no incident made headlines like the one involving Russell Westbrook in 2019, after he was captured shouting at a fan threatening, "I'll f*** you up, you and your wife." What wasn't caught on camera but was confirmed by multiple witnesses was the fan allegedly telling him to get down on your knees like you're used to. Westbrook was eventually fined $25,000, and the Jazz banned the fan for life. And this wasn't the first time Westbrook experienced something like this from a Jazz fan. A year earlier, a Utah fan called him boy, a word loaded with historical racial connotations. And he's not the only one. Asked to be released in 2007 after his infant daughter was diagnosed with a rare eye cancer. But when Fisher returned to the Lakers during the playoffs, Utah fans turned on him. A fan behind the basket covered his right eye, mocking Fisher's daughter, and began screaming at him. Several fans who attended the game said that some Jazz fans were chanting "cancer" over and over again whenever Fisher touched the ball or shot free throws. So many people agreed that this was absolutely heartless of the Jazz fans. But that didn't stop Jazz fans from still doing it. Over the years, countless players and fans have continued to report negative experiences with Jazz supporters, cementing their place as one of the absolute worst fan bases in the NBA. But while some fan bases earn hate, others earn respect. Like Orlando Magic fans who showed up through heartbreak, bad trades, and rebuilds. Despite being a small market team with limited playoff success, the Orlando Magic fanbase has earned a reputation as one of the NBA's most beloved and most loyal. The team hasn't reached the conference finals since 2010 and endured 6 straight losing seasons from 2012 to 2018. Yet even during that drought, fans continued showing up. Orlando ranked 12th in average home attendance in the 2023-24 season, ahead of larger markets like Washington and Atlanta. When the Magic finally made their long-awaited return to the playoffs in 2024, every home game at Kia Center was sold out. This increase in support was loyalty that had been building for years. In fact, a simulated version of the Harvard Sports Analysis Collective's Most Loyal Fans ranking, published by Orlando Magic Daily, placed Magic fans 9th overall. That's ahead of high-profile teams like the Spurs, Heat, Bulls, Cavaliers, and even the Lakers. The roots of that royalty run deep, starting in the early 90s, when the franchise drafted Shaquille O'Neal and paired him with Penny Hardaway. This duo led the Magic to the NBA Finals in 1995, only to get swept by Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets in the 1995 NBA Finals. Still, fans stuck around. They were there for the Dwight Howard years and the 2009 Finals run, and they were still there after Howard left. And after the rebuild fell apart, they've lived through heartbreak, star departures, and years of irrelevance, but they never completely left. Unlike the Orlando Magic fans, not every fan base takes heartbreak so gracefully. And the Dallas Mavericks were one of the quickest fan bases to spiral from passionate to volatile. This franchise has a history of fierce loyalty, especially to star players. But that loyalty has also bred an intense and unforgiving rage when things go wrong. And nothing has gone more wrong for the Mavs fans than the Luka Doncic trade. On the night of February 2nd, 2025, while most of Dallas was asleep, the Mavs front office made a franchise-defining decision. They traded 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers for 31-year-old Anthony Davis, third-year guard Max Christie, and a distant 2029 first-round pick. The reaction was instant and nuclear.
Finals. Why are we trading the best player, the franchise player? How are we trading the franchise player? You went to the NBA Finals. He's supposed to have a statue. Hell yeah. He's supposed to.
And within hours, fans gathered outside the American Airlines Center. Some even left a not safe for work message to Nico Harrison on the concrete next to Dirk Nowitzki's statue outside the arena. Others returned the next day with signs, chants, and even a full-scale funeral procession, complete with a blue coffin and speakers blasting Wiz Khalifa's "See You Again." For many, Doncic's presence felt like destiny. He debuted in 2018 just as Dirk Nowitzki played his final season. Doncic led the team to the NBA Finals in 2024.
Again, I go to his tempo. He never gets sped up, just attacks it beautifully.
Doncic, what a pass, and Jones with the...
Made 5 All-NBA first teams, and became the face of the franchise on a global scale. So his trade wasn't just a loss, it felt like erasure. And the Maverick fans were letting everyone know just how enraged it made them. So much so that they were named the angriest fan base in the NBA. Since the 1st of January in 2025, Mavericks fans have posted over 23,000 curse words on Reddit, more than any other NBA fan base. Their most used words have been fuck, appearing 8,340 times, followed closely by bullshit, bitch, and mother. Within 24 hours of the Luka trade, the Mavericks Instagram account lost over 700,000 followers, and GM Nico Harrison had to restrict comments on his personal accounts after fans flooded him with verbal abuse. While their grief is rooted in love for their former star, the Mavs' fury has turned them into one of the most notoriously hostile fan bases in the NBA. However, not every city lashes out when things go wrong, and the Detroit Piston fans might be the strongest proof of that. Since 2008, Detroit has one of the worst postseason records in the NBA, reaching the NBA just 3 times with a .5 winning percentage. Last year, they went from 14 wins to a playoff team, and that's the worst record by a team to make the playoffs the following season in NBA history. They've cycled through coaches, lottery picks, rebuilds, rebrands, but nothing stuck. However, Piston fans still remain very optimistic about their team, even during the historically bad 2023-24 season, when the team lost 28 straight games and finished with a 14-68 record. The fan base didn't fold. They trended #SellTheTeam online and flooded post-game comment sections.
That will prove to be a bit of a silver
because
lining.
they believed that a team with Detroit across its chest should mean something, and they didn't want to sugarcoat failure or pretend mediocrity was progress. Unlike Pistons fans who are respected even without a winning team, Sixers fans are disliked, despite rooting for one of the best teams in the league. The Action Network study ranked the Sixers as the most hated team in the entire NBA, and revealed that nearly 1 in 10 posts about the team carried a negative tone, which was more than any other franchise in the league. But it's not just outside hate. Inside the fanbase, things aren't much calmer, as Sixers fans regularly flood social media with posts about how stressed and fed up they are. So much so that they were crowned the most stressed fan base in the NBA. That stress spills over into constant battles with other teams and fan bases. And the team president, Morey, said, "If you're not bringing the full effort, fans will make life a living hell." But that shouldn't be surprising, since Philly sports fans have long had a reputation for going too far. From throwing snowballs at Santa during an Eagles game.
As I was starting to walk back, I saw the snowballs starting to come, and then I started getting hit with them.
And all of a sudden, Santa Claus is dodging and ducking, and there's a full stadium full of people just wailing away at Santa Claus.
I remember watching a fella make a snowball, and throw it at me.
To heckling their own stars into oblivion. That tension has led to the 76ers fan base being called the most negative fan base in NBA history. But unlike the Sixers, whose fan base is fueled by frustration, Bulls fans are driven by loyalty. So much so that they were ranked the most loyal fan base in the entire NBA, despite the fact that the Bulls haven't made a conference finals since 2011, and haven't won 50 or more games in a regular season since the 2011 to 2012 season. Yet, season after season, they're always at the top of the league in attendance, both home and away. In the 23 to 24 season, the Bulls ranked number 1 in the NBA in average home attendance, drawing over 20,000 fans per game. They also had one of the league's highest total road attendances, meaning even on losing nights, Chicago fans filled other teams' arenas. Even fans of other franchises know this. Bulls are always near the top of attendance, even when they're not good. In a 2023 Harris poll, over 53% of Chicagoans identified as Bulls fans, making them the second most supported franchise in the city, just behind the Bears. But while the Bears ride waves of hope, Bulls fans have stuck around through nearly 25 years of disappointment. However, even during the franchise's lowest points, Bulls fans never walked away. And currently, the Bulls have one of the largest global media followings in the NBA, with more than 45 million followers across social media. Even now, newcomers are still falling in love with the Bulls. And what they never fail to follow is, we are a good team to root for and be a fan of. But while some teams inspire loyalty, others carry an air of entitlement, and the New York Knicks fans are a perfect example of it. They don't just think they're a good team, they think they're basketball royalty, even though they haven't touched a championship trophy since 1973, and also missed the playoffs in 15 of 22 seasons, and haven't won the Eastern Conference in more than 20 years. Knicks fans carry themselves like they're God's gift to basketball. The Knicks project the confidence of a dynasty, but their on-court performance often tells a different story. Yet somehow they stay in the spotlight, and that's what drives people crazy the most, because they believe the Knicks do not deserve the attention they get. But they get it anyway, because of the large number of celebrities they have in their fan base. High-profile supporters like Spike Lee are often seen courtside in signature Knicks colors. Tracy Morgan, known for his animated presence during games, and Timothée Chalamet, whose appearances regularly attract media attention, all contribute to the spectacle. Every Knicks home game feels like a red carpet event because the Knicks don't have to earn media attention. They're handed it. Even NBA players are tired of the hype, as Udonis Haslem explained how he felt. They think they created everything that's got to do with basketball. Unlike the Knicks, who are hated for their entitlement, the Minnesota Timberwolves fans are admired for their loyalty, despite having every season to give up. They've never been the most televised fan base, but somehow they've become one of the most beloved. And last year, their fans were ranked as the happiest NBA fan base. This didn't come because of rings, as the Timberwolves are still awaiting their first championship and first finals appearance. And they didn't get it with the help of the national media either, as they aren't publicized like other franchises. It was because Timberwolves fans know exactly what it means to stick around through the hard parts and still show up. This past season alone, Timberwolves fans led the entire NBA in positive playoff tweets, with over 16,000 in just a few weeks. While this was happening, they were surviving mismanagement, injuries, knuckle push-ups, bad coaching, and everything that would turn a person away from the basketball team. Still, somehow the fans show up with optimism. For some of them, this unending support started with Ricky Rubio. In the words of one fan, "I could not get enough of Ricky Rubio's highlights. His vision, his passing, his incredible intelligence on the court were and are a joy to see. I stuck to the Timberwolves like glue as soon as he came over in 2011. For others, it was the beauty of a Kevin Love outlet pass or a ridiculous 2020 night that kept it going. Or the raw potential of Wiggins, the bounce of Levine, and the promise of Karl Anthony Towns. Minnesota fans didn't rally around the team out of convenience. They connected with it because it felt like a true reflection of their community and identity. And now with Anthony Edwards and a new era rising, they're still here, because they've already built something more valuable than just winning, which is resilience. Unlike the Timberwolves fans who are loved because they don't beg for the spotlight, Memphis Grizzlies fans are hated because they can't seem to stay out of it for all the wrong reasons. A few years ago, the Memphis Grizzlies were the NBA's lovable underdogs. They came from a small market without big-name All-Stars or championship history, just a roster of young players known for their energy, effort, and a strong desire to prove themselves. They clawed their way into the playoffs behind a scrappy mentality and a unifying mantra: Memphis versus everybody. But once they got a taste of success, everything changed. As their confidence grew and public perception shifted, the Grizzlies were no longer seen as underdogs. Instead, they began to take on the role of villains in the eyes of many. And this shift started when Ja Morant, unprovoked, declared that the Grizzlies weren't worried about any team in the Western Conference. His exact words were, "Nah, I'm fine in the West." Then they went on to lose to the Nuggets, the Warriors without Curry, and the Suns without Booker, Payne, or Cam Johnson. But the real chaos didn't happen until Dillon Brooks started saying things he shouldn't.
I guess what were you thinking?
I don't care, he's old. You know what I mean?
In a playoff series against the Lakers, Brooks publicly called LeBron old. He also came at Steph Curry, claiming the Grizzlies were building a dynasty while standing across from the actual Warriors dynasty. Steph responded with 29 points in Game 7 and sent Memphis home, once again. This controversy extended beyond the players, as the fanbase quickly gained a reputation for its own brand of boldness and trash talk. Grizzlies fans fully embraced a defiant us versus them mentality, openly trashing opposing teams and sparring in comment sections. In their eyes, the criticism was just envy. As they put it, they hate us cause they ain't us. But the rest of the league didn't see it that way. The Grizzlies weren't winning titles, they were only winning headlines for all the wrong reasons. While the Grizzlies earned their hate by shouting for attention, the San Antonio Spurs earned their love by never asking for any. Spurs fans are one of the most respected fan bases in the NBA, and it's not hard to see why. They're so tolerable that they won the Most Tolerable NBA Fanbase Award. They sat through 18 straight 50-win seasons, the longest stretch of sustained success in modern NBA history, without ever becoming unproblematic. Unlike many other fan bases, they just showed up, cheered, and trusted the system as a family. As one fan put it, the Spurs are more than just a team, it's family. Like you're part of something, and that's what the organization treats its players and fans. Even if players leave the team, they are still part of that Spurs family. That mindset started at the top with Tim Duncan, a player many believe has never cared less about fame in the history of sports. He gave up personal accolades, embraced a supporting role, and committed fully to the team, the coach, and the system. And Spurs fans reflected that same humility, consistently showing respect to other fan bases and unwavering loyalty to their own team. They defended Bruce Bowen when the league called him the dirtiest player alive. In the words of one fan, Bruce was a fantastic and great defensive player. He was never dirty, and that's all lies. They stuck around through silence, a huge scandal, and a difficult team change. As one fan put it, being a Spurs fan means wearing the shirt proudly, no matter what. And over time, that quiet loyalty earned them something no hot take ever could: respect. But that same approach didn't work for the Boston Celtics, who despite their history have become one of the most hated franchises in NBA history. They've won 18 NBA championships in history, and despite all their success, the hate they get outweighs the respect, and a lot of that has to do with their fan base. Celtics fans have a reputation for being loud, proud, and often come off as condescending to many people. When Boston wins, they act like it's the natural order of the universe. But when they lose, it's an entirely different story of blame game. People from other fan bases even call them sore losers for their behavior. But it doesn't stop there. They've been at the center of some of the most notorious fan behavior in NBA history, especially when it comes to racism. And dozens of NBA stars have come forward with disturbing stories. Kyrie Irving called out the fan base for what he described as subtle racism, saying Celtics fans are constantly yelling slurs from the crowd. LeBron James outright called Celtics fans racist, saying they'll say anything to get in a player's head. DeMarcus Cousins said they used racially offensive language toward him, prompting the team to ban that fan for 2 years. In addition, they've also built a reputation for crossing the line, from throwing water bottles at players to turning the arena into a hostile environment. Celtics fans are often accused of taking things too far. Even former players haven't been immune to backlash. Ray Allen, for example, faced intense criticism from fans after his departure. Reactions like this have contributed to the perception people have of Boston's fan base, which is why they were recently voted the most toxic in the NBA.